There we go. I think I got this thing working right. What up, people? Got on my bucked up gear today. I'm gonna put the link, website somewhere in the description, caption, whatever. I'm gonna put it somewhere on the video, under the video. Y'all know where to go. Today we're going to talk about personal training. So we're gonna talk about fitness today. But today I got some notes right here, so y'all may see me look down every now and then. I'm not spazzing out. I'm just trying to read and, let y'all know what's up. So today I'm gonna tell y'all 5 ways or 5 tips for former athletes to recognize and understand and be aware of as they transition into the personal training field. Now, why am I targeting former athletes or athletes who are looking to become personal trainers? Well, number one, straight up, that's where I come from. So I can talk about what I know because I've been there. I know what it's like, know what it feels like, know what you're thinking about, know what you're either going through or maybe going through. So that's why I want to talk about that. But number two is that a lot of personal trainers were former athletes, either professional, collegiate, high school, or just really love sports, and that's kind of been their background, whether it be, non-official sports like, intramurals or clubs or, rec league, stuff like that, which is, still a good thing, still active. But I want to talk about it because there's a mentality shift and there's a difference when you go from an athletic environment to a general population environment. I think it's really important to talk about. Some of the stuff is kind of frustrating, but a lot of it is actually really funny, and the things that I'll talk about today can maybe help prepare you or put you at ease if you're kind of going through it right now and you don't really understand what's going on. So, top of the list, number 5, all right, or first tip. The thing that you need to recognize and understand when you're coming from an athlete to general pop personal training environment is that nobody knows you, all right? And it's not really so much of like an ego thing or like a being arrogant or cocky thing, but especially for my former professional athletes or collegiate athletes who you come from a place where you're on full scholarship, everybody knows your name, you're on the poster, you got these accolades tied to you, people around campus, they recognize your face, you're walking around with your school gear on or your brand on or whatever. People know you, they respect you, they want to talk to you, they want to see what's up with you, they want to listen to you. When you step over from that environment into your new environment, your personal training environment, you're just starting off at a new gym or new operation, don't nobody in there know you, so sometimes that in itself is a huge culture shock and adjustment for athletes because they go from being on top of the world as far as, notoriety to people looking at you like, who's the new guy, so that's kind of like the fuck, a part of you does kind of have that ego to where it's like, man, like the fuck, like, you know who I am, or you know what I've done, or blah, blah, but when you step over into that, that's the first thing to remember. Nobody knows who you are. So with that being said, you do have to put yourself in a position to humble yourself, know that you're in a new environment. Just like with anything else, you're starting over, so you got to start that over too, as far as building your relationships with people. People will not automatically respect you or, depending on, how well you were publicized or recognized in your sport, people may not even know who you are at all. It may be a word of mouth thing like, oh, he played, football or basketball for such and such, or that's cool, or she was a volleyball player, or she ran track. I mean, it'll be a notable asterisk thing. And then if, you got a few select people who may go Google you or something like that, who may care enough, most people don't. So they want to know how you can help them, how you're going to benefit them. So top thing to remember, nobody knows you. Most people don't care. Some people may think it's cool, but you're in a new space, so you got to create a new thing for yourself, all right? Number 2 on the list, they are not you, okay? So this is another huge thing to remember when you're going into a gym pop culture coming from being an athlete, is that they are not you. So they do not care the way that you care. They do not want to thrive and be as successful or as determined or as driven as you are. A pretty large percentage of that population. Of course, you got your clients, you know, you got your diamonds in the rough, you got your people who have a really great mindset or really great mentality going into it. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are working out because it's a fad, or they're trying it out, or they haven't done it in a long time and they kind of want to add it back to their regimen, but they don't really want it to be super duper intense. Or they went to the doctor and they got some bad news. So they're in there to kind of check off a box because they want to, you know, be around to enjoy the fruits of their labor, their retirement, or just whatever, you know. So you have to understand that the gym pop, they're coming with a different mindset. So when you're used to being an athlete and everything's like gung-ho, balls to the wall, 1000%, if you don't want to be here, get out, you know, it's not going to be like that when you transition over to personal training world as a former athlete. So that's one thing to remember, and always know to judge them or assess them on the right scale, because if you don't, you'll kind of always feeling like they're not working hard enough, or they're BSing during their session, or, you know, you spend all that time and energy creating this exercise prescription for them and now they're complaining during the session. In athlete world, you don't complain. You complain, you get your scholarship cut, or you get kicked off the team, don't nobody care, you scrub, you know. But in gym pop world, you kind of have to massage that, and you got to learn how to move around those things. So a little bit different. So be prepared for that. All right. Number 3, because of that, because of the first 2 things, but especially the last tip, because of that, our third tip will be research and education. All right. Very important, because what you may have needed or may have benefited from as an athlete may be completely different than what your client needs, or what your class needs, or what your specific target demographic needs. You know, you could have spent the last 4 to 5 years of your professional or collegiate, you know, career, you know, doing a bunch of sprints and box jumps and, you know, a whole bunch of battle rope and a whole bunch of super high intensity stuff. And then you get into training gym pop, and first of all, they don't have that type of background. But then on top of that, you know, you have people who have medical issues, or they have certain injuries, or certain, you know, disabilities, or, you know, you're dealing with adults, but a lot of them don't have, you know, highly developed, you know, hand-eye coordination, or, you know, certain like motor development skills and things like that. And you would think that that'd be something you have to worry about with like children. But when you get into this side of it, you realize that you got people in their 40s and 50s, sometimes even their mid 30s, who, you know, can barely touch their toes. Or when you ask them to do like march in place or something like that, you'll see them do like the whole samesies, and, you know, like it's like they're not aware of like what their body is doing. You know, it can be funny, it's not funny, but you learn to accept that that's how they're built, and you stop taking it personal or wanting to make it a personal thing to give them this super over the top workout, when that's really not what a lot of them need. A lot of them need base foundational work, progressive work, you know, things that may look like a warm up to you could be their entire workout. So you have to train your mentality to understand that's what that type of population needs and what they're looking for. Fourth down on the list, we're at number 2 going down. So next tip will be don't stress. Okay, so that sounds general. Let me explain myself. Don't stress. In athlete world, okay, you show up, you work hard, you do a certain thing, you get a certain result. If you're not getting that certain result, that means that there's something either wrong with you, there's something wrong with the program, there's something wrong with how you're recovering, there's something wrong with you know, the system or school that you're at. Now you thinking about you need to transfer, or you wasting your time, or you're not reaching your full potential, or just whatever. You have to understand that things in the general population, when it comes to general exercise, personal training, group exercise, these things are a marathon, okay? There are phases, there are progressions to it, there are improvements that will happen along the way, but they come a lot slower than what you are mentally and physically used to, okay? So, you know, you may work with a client for over a year, and it may take them a year to master a bodyweight squat, you know? It may take them a very long time to, you know, be able to achieve certain positions or to accomplish a certain goal on the scale, or break a poor habit, or, you know, get them to sleep, you know, appropriately at night, or get them to drink enough water during the day. It is not a, you know, athletic minded thing to be like, oh, I need some more gains. You know, I'm trying to run this time. I'm trying to catch more passes, get in and out of my breaks better. Pass me the gallon, whatever, you know, supplement I need to take. Let me do that, you know, like whatever. They ain't built like that. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Some of them are. Most of them are not. All right. So remember that too. Don't stress. Once again, it is a journey. All right. Be more in love with the journey and not the destination, or you will piss yourself off a lot. All right. I got to remember that my camera stops at like 11 minutes or 12 minutes or something like that. But tip number one, bringing it back. Tip number one is to find your niche and target demographic. I say that because as you're developing yourself in the field, you'll start to notice that a certain type of person naturally gravitates to you. When you're starting off, you're trying to live with everybody. You got the soccer mom, you got the out of shape dad, you got the person with, you know, a rap sheet of medical issues and disabilities. You got a random super fit person that just wants to switch it up, and you look like you know what you're doing, so they want to work with you, you know. But as you kind of progress along, you start to notice that you attract a certain type of person. And sometimes it's not about the look of a person, but it's about the mindset or mentality or goal, or I guess kind of overall motive or vibe connected to the type of people that you attract. You know, I had a corporate wellness job a few years ago as an entry-level employee, and it was 5 of us, and we kind of noticed that, like, you know, one of the trainers on staff, he would attract, you know, women in their 40s and above, you know. Then we had another trainer on staff that would attract, you know, both men and women 60 and above who couldn't really do a whole lot. And then we had another younger lady or woman on the training staff who would attract all of the young women that wanted to look like her, you know. And then I would get, you know, really in shape people who wanted to switch up their workout and wanted to try something new. And then I would get the complete extreme of people who had zero idea what they were doing, but they were still motivated. So the common denominator was I always got highly motivated people who just needed to be pushed, because they would see me train other people, they would see me working out by myself. So that's just kind of like the law of attraction and how that works, you know. And then, you know, another trainer that I worked with, he got everybody in the middle. You know, all the kind of gray area people who are like, they're capable, but they need to be managed, and you got to check on them all the time. And you kind of have to, like, you know, really, you know, beat the nail with the hammer, you know, with these clients. But those people loved him because based off his personality, he was geared to attracting people that needed kind of like that, you know, authoritarian, you know, military minded, like all up in your face, sending you, you know, 10 text messages a day, checking on you, all of that kind of stuff. So you'll start to realize that when you get in the field that you will naturally attract a certain type of person, but it's going to be up to you to realize what your skill set is, what you're good at, what you're not good at, the type of people that you usually train, the results of those types of people, and then always be in a position to make sure you're always getting better in your craft. It's another huge thing too in the personal training environment. Even if you've kind of solidified your niche, or you've solidified what style of training you can gear yourself to, always challenge yourself to learn something new, or learn how to mix up different exercises, or play with different schemes, and timing, or pyramids, or intervals, or rest breaks, or different hit techniques and stuff like that. I mean, people in the personal training world, they know what I'm talking about. The personal training world know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's it. So like, subscribe, comment, let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna keep on making these videos. For all my new personal trainers who have been former athletes at some degree, please take these things to heart. They will help you. They'll help you in the physical world, but they'll also help your internal environment too, because I know a lot of the things that I've talked about can be frustrating when you start off. Don't let that kill your spirit. Don't let that kill your drive or your bread. Go make that money for sure. We got a bunch of people around that need help. Just learn how to market yourself, know who you attract, and then capitalize on that. All right, see y'all later. Peace.